Stephen, who's one of the original founders of the group, and Eileen McLaughlin, who performs as Agnieszka with us. And on this side, Alexander Nekrasov, who's a former advisor to the Kremlin. Thank you all for coming in. I say Putin might have been there, might not, because his spokespeople have denied that he was a part of this and he was there still.
Well, they seem to say that he was not there, definitely, but unfortunately the whole arrangement seemed to tell me that he was there, because all the secrecy, the security, tight security, and even that you couldn't even see who was in the audience, you know, apart from Putin and his wife. So, no, it tells me that he was there. But the reason I think why they suddenly said that he wasn't there, because the image they project is of a man who works every day, 25 hours a day, and he only is concerned with the economy, nothing else.
So let's get the real story here. Was he there? Paint the picture.
I'll paint the picture. Yes, we arrived in Moscow. We were extremely tight. I don't think I've ever done a show with security that tight. And we were told this is for Vladimir Putin and his 8 guests, and which it was. And yes, there was some neck cutting up, but he was there, you know, dancing and just enjoying the show. For sure.
And you know, describe the net curtain bit of this, because I think that's a fascinating part of this story.
Well, it's a net curtain. I mean, there was a big sort of plush sofa behind with 4 seats, and there was just like a veil almost, rather than net. It's like a veil in front of it.
You could make out it was him.
Yeah, we had a glimpse there.
And
so.
Was he moving?
He was, yeah. He was moving. He was dancing too, and enjoying it and clapping.
And if we go back to a step further back, a phone call comes in. You know, normally I suppose you're booking gigs in wherever, halls and stuff, but this was a slightly different call.
Yeah, it was from the Kremlin. It was a strange phone call. Kremlin, Russia, Moscow. We want Bjorn Again to do a performance, and I thought someone's having a bit of going on. Yeah, of course. But it turned out to be a real inquiry.
And you sort of, did you check up on it? How do you sort of check the veracity of a call like that?
Well, I got it channeled through an agency in Moscow we normally do shows with, and it was all validated through them.
Extraordinary. And have you performed in front of sort of world leaders before? Have you done gigs, private gigs like that before?
Not that I can't think of anything quite someone like Vladimir.
It's not quite that level.
No.
Alexander, how do you think this is going to go down with Russians in particular, who see Putin in a certain way, and he's got quite a tough image as well, isn't he?
Well, I think many people will be wondering what the hell is going on there, and also, of course, the macho crowd, the ones who go for, you know, hard rock bands like Led Zeppelin or Deep Purple and so on, they would be very surprised. But I also think that there's another angle to it, because the 22nd of January, when the concert took place, is actually the anniversary of the Soviet state and the Communist Party. And I suspect that some of those communists, you know, with the nostalgia for the old times, they're probably quite upset that Putin was actually jumping with joy on that day. So that's another interesting side to that story.
And Abba music, you know, it just seems like a strange choice. Or should we have known this?
Well, actually, you know, some people joke in Russia that Putin and his crowd live in the 1970s. You know, their mentality is still, you know, that Soviet mentality. In the 1970s, Abba was huge in Russia. So we are sort of saying, yes, that is a nostalgic journey backwards, back to the old times for Putin.
And is there going to be a return gig? Presumably, given that he's denying it happened at all, it's going to be a no, really.
You never know, do you?
You never know.
Well, the oligarchs might be tempted.
Yeah.
They usually copy Putin afterwards.
That'd be a good gig to get.
Has all the money come through, by the way?
That's a good point. Better chase it.
Thank you all very much for coming this morning.
Thank you.